Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I am Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Together we are two of the Office Blokes.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. What's going on with Mike?
£1.50. What day is it today? Thursday.
So
recording this on a Thursday.
So he's having a mini retirement, isn't he? That's what he does on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays.
He needs to lie down, doesn't he? Every now and then at his age, he needs to lie down.
Yeah, it's gone to his head a little bit because all of our merch at the moment is just Mike everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like at last I heard he got arrested in a restaurant. He was going, "Do you not know who I am?" And then he started smashing. Someone shouted Ronnie Pickering, and he just booted off and started hitting people.
Imagine Mike hitting someone.
Yeah, Mike is just having a day off because the sun shines out, and I guess he's just would rather be sat in the sun.
He's probably sat in his back garden, feet up, kind of carling on the go.
I bet he's mowing the lawn.
I bet he's decorating his house.
Yeah, he's not the type to just sit in his garden, is he?
No.
Anyway, we're going to hold down the fort for a couple of videos. Mike will be back very soon, though. This is Scary Videos Sneaked Out of China. Snuck?
Sneaked.
Sneaked? Is snuck not a word?
I don't know. Sounds a shit word anyway, doesn't it?
It sounds bizarre. Let's do it. Scary Videos Sneaked Out of China.
You are watching a leaked video from inside a secret Chinese prison. Welcome back, Charlie here. China is one of the most secretive countries in the world, but I found some videos people have sneaked out of China. From real videos of China's brainwashing camps, to a secret recording of Chinese officials planning to invade a foreign country. First, we have to look at black jails. Did you know that all over China there are secret prisons called black jails? These are not prisons controlled by the central government of China. Instead, they're controlled by local politicians. Most of the time, protesters or political rivals get locked up in these black jails. In 2009, a reporter was given an address of one of these by a former detainee. And when she went there, this is what happened. You can hear someone inside this black jail screaming for help. She tried to get out and yelled at the woman, "You're here to save me." There were 3 prison guards inside this jail, but they refused to ever open the door again. And we have no idea what happened to the woman who was inside the black jail.
I wouldn't mind betting that reporter's in the jail now as well.
You'd have thought that would happen, wouldn't you? Just sort of like grab them and throw them in.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be a bit more security to get to the door, put it that way.
I suppose if they're unofficial, they're probably not funded as well as like government state prisons maybe, so it's a bit...
At the same time, I'm sure inside they're probably making iPhones or something, but it's, getting some kind of revenue in the door.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think you'd have a distance up to the door of security.
You can't just get to the door
where
the prisoners
door,
are
knock on the door, and a guy opens up
and
someone starts yelling in the background.
There'd at least be a fence with a guard post and then a door.
And maybe then another fence in front of that fence.
Yeah.
No.
Still weird, isn't it? She sounded proper in distress, that woman.
Oh, but I mean, it's China, isn't it? Who the fuck knows what goes on over there?
No.
She was simply taken there off the record and imprisoned, with her friends and family having no idea what happened to her. Many people who complain about corruption also end up in these black jails. They exist so the police don't have to follow the law, which leads to them treating the prisoners very badly. One woman went to Beijing to protest corruption, but she was soon taken to a black jail. Inside the jail, she was injured using a metal pole and a cattle prod. Prisoners are normally held inside black jails for a few months to a few years. Black jails are an open secret in China. The government actually don't mind people knowing about them. That's because the fear of being locked in one of these jails is enough to stop anyone from protesting, which is exactly what the Chinese government want. Next, we have to look at this leaked video of an invasion plan. In 2022, a leaked video showed Chinese commanders discussing a Taiwan invasion plan. China firmly believes they own Taiwan, and Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, has even said that Taiwan and China will be reunited soon. The 57-minute video shows a top-secret Chinese military meeting. Top commanders can be heard discussing a war status transition position. They also say we won't hesitate to start a war and crush Taiwan's independence. And just 4 days ago, a memo from a US general was leaked. In the memo, the US general says he believes China will invade Taiwan by 2025. The USA has said if this happens, they will defend Taiwan, which means a war between the USA and China could break out. Next, we have to look at
I think there's a lot of like big words being thrown around on both sides, isn't there?
Like what? Military.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
Well, what I mean is a lot of posturing, and will China do it knowing that it'll kick off a war with the West?
China seems to be sort of like pushing the boundary all the time, pushing the envelope, don't they? Sort of like with Taiwan, the constant head pecking.
I think they're smarter than to have a proper war, though. I think they're playing a very long game, China. It's like economic destruction of its enemies.
Yeah, well, they've got a lot of... isn't Taiwan like the leader of the semiconductor or something industry or something like that?
We did a video on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that's why they're moving the semiconductor manufacturing to
Vietnam or something.
Some of it's in the States and some might have been Vietnam or Indonesia or somewhere.
But I don't know, I mean, I remember going to China once and I was studying this... I think I've told this story before. I was studying this like restaurant in Shanghai. And it was quite high up the restaurant. It was quite a scenic view. I remember getting up to walk to the window to have a look out the window. Fucking hell. Everyone come piling in, sort of thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm looking out the window, that's all. No, I got my camera, I was going to take a picture. No, you sit down. I'm like, what the fuck? And they said, someone said to me, Vladimir Putin was visiting in a building further down over the road. And they thought, they want no one at the windows in case there's an attempted assassination.
Yeah.
I went, fucking hell. Like, whatever.
Your sniper camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
I guess I look like James Bond in my early years, according to them.
Yeah. My bro went to Hong Kong a few years ago. Said he absolutely loved it.
Hong Kong's great.
Had a great time. But they crossed over into China, and he said it's very, very tight, the borders. But they went to go and look at all the naughty shops with the watches and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And he said everything is just like run by the military, and there's no pictures, there's nothing.
Yeah, you cross over into, I think, is it Shenzhen, just over the
I think it is
over the water. Yeah.
Secret footage of China's prison camps. In 2019, drone footage showed many prisoners in China. Hundreds of detainees were wearing blue with their heads shaved, and it's believed all of these people are Uyghur Muslims. China has recently been cracking down on Muslims. Any religion inside China is banned. That's because they don't want you to worship anything more than the Chinese Communist Party. It's scary to see the rows of inmates being detained. They're not even allowed to see, as they're all wearing blindfolds. Dozens of guards also surround the prisoners. The video was reportedly shot in the Xinjiang region of China. This is where China has detained hundreds of thousands of Muslims over the past few years. But what's about to happen to these people? Well, here's where things get really scary. They're about to be taken to what's known as a Chinese re-education camp. Inside these camps, people are brainwashed to get rid of their religions and to love the Chinese government. The camps are run very harshly. There are punishments for anyone stepping out of line. And of course, there are no escapes. It's scary to think just how many people are locked inside these brainwashing camps as we speak right now. Moving on, we have to look at this prisoner.
They've got like about 3 prison guards to every 3 prisoners.
I always think that.
Yeah, too many people over there, aren't they?
I think so, yeah. I mean, if they, in their eyes, they've got people to spare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think I was listening to something about not economic collapse. What's the word for it? Population collapse, which a lot of people are saying is on the forefront of a lot of countries. It's in the near future, and China are on the verge of it because of that one-child policy they had for so long. That you obviously have 2 adults, 1 child. It's kind of halving every time that happens, and they're on the verge of having a really old population without the young people to sort of bolster the ranks. So although they're like 1.5 billion Chinese people or something, there's a crazy number, isn't there? That it's potentially going to decline rapidly.
Have they got a bigger population than India? Or did India take over them recently?
India might be bigger, but I think they're both above 1 billion.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But can you imagine that? I don't know. They've got all these like empty towns and all that as well, haven't they? In derelict sort of like cities they built.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a crazy place.
How much of it's true? Like, are we watching some propaganda? Are they leaking footage because they want us to think things?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I've been
Yeah.
But I've only been to Beijing, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. But it's a it's a nutty place, busy as fuck.
Escape. This video comes from Jilin, China. A man has just broken out of prison in the middle of the night. He climbs onto a rooftop and then hops over an electric fence. He then climbs the prison's wall and makes a run for it. But what did this man actually do? Well, here's where things get scary. This man is not Chinese, but instead North Korean. However, he was caught by Chinese police after escaping North Korea to go to China. You see, North Korea and China have a deal. If anyone escapes North Korea to go to China, they will be arrested by Chinese police. The man named Zhu Xingjiang had been sentenced to 11 years in prison, but surprisingly his release date was coming up. So why did he decide to escape? The reason is
going
horrifying.
back to Korea.
You see, when his sentence runs out, he will be sent back to North Korea, where he will then face the North Korean punishment for escaping. That punishment is
death.
Execution. So
Wow.
this man literally had to escape from prison to save his life. But a few days after his escape, he was found. Police found him hiding inside an abandoned house by a lake. He was arrested and taken back to prison. The look on his face as he's being dragged away by police really does say a lot. Next, we have to look at this.
He might as well just fucking face the consequence of what it is. It's just a shit life anyway.
It's, it's barbaric though, isn't it? When you hear of what happens to the North Korean defectors that successfully make it into China, they get trafficked by gangs and stuff. It's horrific. It's just crazy.
It's definitely it's not a I don't know, the way they do it over there I don't think's right.
I don't think so either. I mean, we're not here to tell people how to run the countries. Definitely not. But yeah, there's a lot of these things coming out that are like,
it's definitely a tight ship over there, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't fuck about.
No.
This very scary power play. Politics is a very scary business, but that's especially true in China. In 2022, Chinese President Xi Jinping was about to be named President for Life. But it seems he may have been worried that some people would vote against this position. One of those people being former President Hu Jintao. Before any voting began, someone took a file from Hu. He tries to get it back, but the other man won't let him have it. And a few moments later, he is hauled out of the room. He attempts to say one final thing to Xi Jinping, but Xi Jinping ignores him and Hu Jintao is removed. None of the Chinese media outlets talked about this, and all of the search results for Hu Jintao on Chinese social media were censored. It seems this guy really is getting erased. This really is a transparent display of Xi Jinping showing off his power, and confirming that he definitely is the dictator of China. Next, we have to look at the scary...
He's got balls like King Kong, hasn't he?
Yeah. I saw a similar thing. I think it was Putin it was one of his not rivals but someone quite high up, and it was a similar situation to that where I think the guy was a supporter of him but maybe behind closed doors was saying a few things, and it was a big thing where a huge meeting, hundreds of people, and they came and very publicly got him.
Seen it, yeah.
And he's shouting to him and stuff.
I think of his name.
And you just think,
I remember that.
But the thing is, if you're going to run your country like that and you're that level of dictator, you're next. It may not be imminent, but eventually you're going to get old.
Yeah.
And then,
Well, that happened with Gaddafi and it happened with Saddam Hussein and people like that. There's a few people that it's happened to already, and I'm sure there's others that I can't, don't spring to mind, but I'm sure when you're in control of these countries like this, where it's, these communist countries, I'm sure, what goes on in Iran at the moment, there's a lot of talk going on in Iran and a lot of protesting and a lot of people, what's going to happen there? Something has to be done by who's going to do it, or who's right and who's wrong.
Well, precisely, like, it's not democratically voted in necessarily in these countries, although it may have been at one point, and then it's been kind of co-opted by dictatorships and sort of tyranny.
President for life. That doesn't make sense. That's not fair.
But then it's not our job to go and impose democracy on these people, because not everyone, maybe culturally some people aren't cut out for democracy. Maybe it's right for us and not right for them. Maybe everyone should have it, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to go to China and start telling them how to run their business.
No, end up in one of the black prisons.
Videos of Chinese lockdowns. Most of the world has moved on from COVID-19, but in China they're still locking down everything in the country. If one person gets infected, entire factories are locked down, with all of the employees inside. They complain they have no food or water, and they haven't been able to see their families in days. Here you can see iPhone factory workers escaping from a lockdown factory. People are also still being locked in their apartments for many days, leading to mass shrieking at night.
因为所有个人，你都不晓得这个状态。
These are residents of Shanghai who are very angry and upset. They simply can't take being locked inside their houses all the time, so they have no choice but to scream their frustrations at night. Moving on, I have to show you Chinese death row. In 2011, death row in China was exposed by various photos. China has the highest number of executions out of any country in the world. In 2007, 8,000 people were executed in China in just 1 year. But here are the only known images of China's death row. Prisoners are given a new outfit to wear on the date of their execution. They're also given their last meal. China executes people in very...
You see that? It was McDonald's.
New outfit to wear on the date of their execution. They're also given...
Oh yeah.
It looks like
it looks like shit in that soup.
Yeah.
It's like an apple pie or something, isn't it?
Yeah. That's crazy. It's the last thing I expected to see when it comes to like China death row. I suppose maybe they can ask for what they want.
I know, it's proper cold place, isn't it? Cold heart.
Emotionless.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Well, the one-child policy, and you saw what was happening to girls that were being born and stuff.
You just don't know, like, just disregard for life, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Given their last meal. China executes people in various ways. This includes a firing squad or a lethal injection, but they also have something known as an execution van. These vans blend in with normal police vans, but inside, prisoners are executed. They do this using a chemical known as potassium chloride. This will quickly stop anyone's heart from beating. But why does China execute so many people? Well, there are actually 68 crimes for which the punishment is execution. This includes even white-collar crimes like tax evasion and fraud, which explains why China uses these vans of death. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below which of these videos...
I'm not sure about some of them.
You're not sure about the validity of it, or like...
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not here to doubt it neither, but at the same time, I can't see a fucking van driving around with Suicide Squad in it. You know what I mean? Bumping you off as soon as you get in the back.
I kind of can, in a weird way, because...
What if you got the wrong person?
Then they'll just go, oops. You know, they're really going to be like...
That wasn't his name, though. It was who? Oops.
I've heard people debate the Uyghur Muslim thing as well. Some people say it's overstated. Some people say it's not true. The evidence seems to point towards the fact that it is happening.
Well, you got video footage there.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know how... What you know, is it validated, that video footage? I don't know, it just seems a little bit extreme, the van driving round.
It's scary. Yeah. It's proper dystopian.
I mean, excuse me, you I don't know who's asking. Oh shit! In the back of the van. Next thing, gone.
A lot of the lockdown stuff, like I've seen recent videos of drones that are flying around and people's balconies telling them to stay indoors.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of it, like an app on your phone that just scans like red or green.
Yeah, that was during COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they've still got it, and there's a lot of people kicking off about that. I think it's an unsustainable government model. You know, they're going to...
They've been in for a while, hasn't he?
But every dynasty, I mean, the Third Reich was supposed to be the thing that lasts forever. You know, 1,000 years it was going to be. They never last.
It's fucking mental.
People get sick of oppression, don't they? And eventually people revolt, people kick off.
But if you're brainwashed, there's nothing, you know, you'll look what happens if you do revolt.
How brainwashed do you think they are? Like, you...
Don't know. Only a screen van, though.
Mike's not allowed to drive in that screen van.
I know, right? That's his Mike. I was just going to say, Mike's here. Yeah.
It's scary, that, though.
Yeah, it is. But I'm not sure how true a lot of them are. I have my doubts on some of them.
A lot of the pandemic stuff was doubted because there was loads of creepy videos coming out of them spraying the whole streets and people being welded into their houses and things like that. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.